How would Alex Pereira do against the top 10 UFC heavyweights? So I have the UFC's top 10 heavyweights listed in front of me here. I'm going to go through each individual fighter listed in the top 10 and give my opinion on whether I think Pereira would win or lose against them. Starting off, we've got Tai Tuivasa, who currently is on a bit of a losing skid in the heavyweight division. However, it's still a very dangerous matchup for Pereira, in my opinion. Has good leg kicks and hits extremely hard, which I think would give Pereira a lot of problems. Tai Tuivasa does have that ability to turn off the lights, but I just think Alex Pereira is just too slick for Tai Tuivasa, and I feel like he might not be able to KO Tai Tuivasa clean, but will more than likely be able to TKO him. I'm gonna go with Pereira to win this matchup. Next up, Sergey Spivak, a grappler, could give Pereira a lot of problems. Spivak, though, doesn't shoot for double and single legs. Mainly it's in the clinch. He looks for trips and sweeps, etc. Could he get Pereira into that position where he would be able to trip him up, etc., get it to the mat? Yes. However, his striking is that bad, in my opinion. I just don't see that happening. And I think Pereira would finish Sergey Spivak in the first round, in my opinion. Next up, Pereira. Similar to Spivak, I feel like he would get KO'd early by Pereira. Then we move up to Jailton Almeida. Now, Almeida is probably one of the best grapplers in the heavyweight division. We've seen him ragdoll Curtis Blades in the first round of UFC 299, but his stand-up has a lot to be desired for. However, I think Almeida could get this to the mat, and I feel like Almeida would be able to submit Alex Pereira. Now, Pereira, we haven't really seen his ground game, so it is kind of hard to judge, and he is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt now. But I feel like Almeida would be able to get Pereira to the mat. Would he? Would Pereira be able to KO him, though? Pereira could KO him, but I am going to have to go for Almeida to win that. I feel like Almeida will be able to get onto the hips of Pereira. We've seen him shoot from like halfway across the cage against Curtis Blades, and I feel like he will be able to get Pereira down and more than likely find the sub. Next up, Alexander Volkov. Volkov, my fucking back is so itchy. Volkov, very underrated in my opinion, a good striker and has somewhat decent grappling now. This would be an interesting one to see, actually. I'm gonna go for Pereira. I feel like over 5 rounds Pereira would be able to outstrike Volkov. Even over 3 rounds I feel like Pereira would be able to outstrike Volkov. And Volkov's chin is there to be hit. I'm going to go for Pereira to beat Alexander Volkov. Next up, we've got Curtis Blades. Now, Curtis Blades, stylistically, is a nightmare matchup for Alex Pereira. However, Curtis Blades' fight IQ isn't the best. And I wouldn't be surprised if Blades decided to go in there and stand against Pereira, or he'd be absolutely picked apart. Now, Blades, very sloppy boxing, but he does have the power to be able to knock out Alex Pereira like every heavyweight, to be honest. But obviously, the big point of Curtis Blades' game that would give Pereira a lot of problems is his wrestling and his grappling. Now, not really dangerous with submissions, however, I feel like he could ground and pound his way to a finish against Alex Pereira if he was able to get it down to the mat, which I believe he would be able to. Plus, he'd be much bigger than Alex Pereira, and his leg kicks are pretty decent as well, in fairness to Curtis Blades. I am going to have to go for Curtis Blades here to beat Alex Pereira. I just feel like his skill set is just a disaster matchup for Alex Pereira, in my opinion. Then we've got Stipe Miocic, the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time, in my opinion, but just currently, we haven't seen him fight in ages. In his last fight, he was KO'd he got dropped by a left hook from Ngannou coming in. Yeah, I feel like it's time's passed, and I feel like Pereira would KO Stipe Miocic. Yeah, I feel like at this moment in time, Pereira would KO Miocic. Then we've got Sergey Pavlovich. Now, this is a very, very interesting matchup because Pavlovich obviously has the ability to KO Alex Pereira, but I don't think Pavlovich's chin is that great, to be honest, and I could also see a world where Pereira KOs him. This is it's kind of 50. I don't know if I'd say it's 50-50. Pavlovich is a good boxer. Obviously, Pereira is far superior on the feet, but again, Pavlovich does have that crazy KO power. Pereira. I'm going to go for Alex Pereira to KO Sergey Pavlovich Although you could go either way in my opinion, but I am going to go for Pereira. I just think he's that much better on the feet. I feel like he could set up a lot of traps against Pavlovich and KO. Plus, we've seen Pavlovich struggle with leg kicks against Curtis Blades. I know that fight was short, but Blades was landing at will with his leg kicks. And obviously, Pereira is the best leg kicker in the UFC, in my opinion. His placement, his power, how well he disguised them. Pereira would beat Pavlovich. Now, the next one. Out of every matchup that can be made in the heavyweight division for Alex Pereira, this would be the one I'd want to see the most. Cyril Gane versus Alex Pereira. This would be an unbelievable matchup. Cyril Gane moves like he's a welterweight. Also a very good kickboxer. Pereira, in my opinion, is the better striker. But then again, Cyril Gane, like I said, a great striker. Has a lot of power as well in his punches. Good at managing distance. Very unorthodox with some of his striking. This would be really, really close in my opinion. Who would win? Honestly, I would love Pereira to move up to heavyweight and have this fight. I feel like this would be unbelievable. Over 5 rounds. See, Cyril Gane gets shit on with his grappling, but Cyril Gane does have the ability to grapple, and he is pretty dangerous with submissions as well. But then again, Cyril Gane was caught by Tai Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa was able to land big strikes on Cyril Gane and drop him and hurt him. This is really close. I'm probably going to have to go... I'm going to go... I don't know. I'm going to go Cyril Gane. I think Gane would be able to beat Pereira. In my opinion, I think he is much... I don't know how much bigger he is than Pereira, but he is the natural heavyweight and a great striker. I'm going to go for Cyril Gane, although you could go either way, but for me, sitting here thinking about it now, I'd go Cyril Gane. Tom Aspinall destroys Alex Pereira inside 1 round. He could either submit him or KO him. It honestly is up to Tom Aspinall. And John Jones, again, in my opinion, would just out-grapple and outclass Alex Pereira in the grappling department. So yeah, I think Alex Pereira could beat anybody on this list because he has that factor, which is the KO factor. He could KO anybody on this list. But yeah, for me, I feel like John Jones and Tom Aspinall beat him. Inside the top 5, I feel like Blades beats him. He beats Stipe. He beats Pavlovich. And Gane could go either way. I don't know. I just really want to see that Gane matchup. But anyway, let me know in the comments below. How do you think Alex Pereira does at heavyweight? And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'll see you again in the next one.